Hello, I'm the video professor, and you are about to learn software by means of a creative new concept in the computer industry. I'll take you step by step through learning your new software package. On the screen now are some other tapes available in my series. With them, you can watch and learn at your own speed. Stop and practice anytime you want, and review topics you don't understand. I suggest that you view each tape in its entirety. Then go back through the lesson with your computer and your software and practice each step. All of my tapes are designed to get you up and running quickly. Once you have viewed and practiced everything that is on these tapes, I think you'll find your software manual much easier to understand. And now, let's get started. And welcome to my lesson on Windows 3.1, one of the most popular software programs available today. Windows is a graphical environment, basically a new and easier way to use your computer while still running in the DOS operating system. There are many benefits to using Windows, as you will find out in this tape. But you do need to learn some new skills to take advantage of this new tool. Depending on your computer, Windows 3.1 can run in two different modes. Standard mode for computers with an Intel 8286 chip and 386 computers with less than 2 megabytes of memory. And the enhanced mode for 386 computers with more than 2 megabytes of memory. We will be running in enhanced mode for this lesson. For those of you running in standard mode, you should have little problem following along. I'll explain the differences when needed. A mouse is highly recommended in order to take full advantage of Windows' powerful graphical environment. No, not that kind of mouse. I'm referring to the one that has little buttons on it and a tail that attaches to the computer. We assume you have a mouse for this lesson, but we'll also show you how to use the alternate keyboard commands that will move you around in this program. Also for this lesson, we assume that you are familiar with DOS commands and functions. If you are not, you may want to view my tapes on learning DOS. And finally, we assume you have Windows installed and up and running. If not, installation is a simple process. You must have at least 6 megabytes of free space on your hard disk. Just place disk 1 of your Windows disk set in drive A. Make sure you are at the A prompt and type Setup and press Enter. Your setup screen appears and Windows guides you through the entire installation process. If you are not very experienced with computers, use the Express Setup, and Windows will look at your computer's configuration and set everything up for you. If you understand computers, you may want to do a custom setup to put things where you want them, and leave out some applications you may not need to save on disk space. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to my student helper, Pam. Ready to get started, Pam?
Hello, Professor. Yes, I'm ready.
Good. For those of you who haven't started Windows yet, all you need to do is type WIN at the DOS prompt. Press Enter, and the program will start up. If by some chance you didn't have Windows modify your AutoExec batch file for you, you may need to make sure you're in the Windows directory to start the program. Windows opens to the Program Manager screen. This screen is where you start any of the programs or utilities you have loaded on your computer. And it's always running in the background so you can switch to it at any time to open other programs. I should mention here that everyone's screen may look a little different from the one we have showing. Each of you will have different programs loaded on your computer, and due to previous work in Windows, may have a different startup view than ours. Viewers, I'm going to give you a few commands you can do to make our screens look somewhat the same to start this lesson. We'll go into detail later on what we are doing and how you can change to any view you prefer. We've intentionally changed our screen to help demonstrate what we are doing here. Hold the Alt key down and press the Tab key until the Program Manager shows up in this box. Once you see the Program Manager in the box, release the keys. Now press the Alt key and spacebar at the same time. Then press Enter. This should make the Program Manager a little smaller than the whole screen. Now, to get rid of any windows that may be opened in this screen, press the Alt key and hyphen at the same time and type a C. Do this as many times as needed to close these windows. Now hold down the Alt key and press the Tab key again. If nothing happens, that's good. If you see any programs other than the Program Manager in this box, release the keys while that program is showing and press the Alt plus spacebar again. Then type a C to close them. Be careful not to do this to the Program Manager or you'll be told this will end your Windows session. You may be asked to save changes if you had any open Windows applications, or you may have to close a non-Windows application in the program itself. Now type Alt-W, then the letter A, and our screen should look similar. If you want the Program Manager to appear as it did before our changes, press Alt plus O and look at the options under Save Changes on Exit. If there is a check mark by this option, type the letter S to turn this option off. If there is no check mark, you can just press the Escape key to close the menu. Again, the Program Manager is the home screen or shell where you start all your Windows sessions. Notice the little pictures with words under them. These are called icons. Icons are pictures that represent different types of applications or files. These icons are folders with little symbols on them that represent groups of applications or programs. Windows uses icons extensively to make it easy to see what they do. Notice this icon labeled Applications. Here is where Windows stored your other programs during installation. One of the advantages of using Windows is that unlike DOS, where you can have only one application running at a time and then must stop to start another, Windows allows you to have several programs running at once. And it's a simple task to switch from one to another and to move information between them. As you will see, we can do this with both Windows applications and with non-Windows applications in enhanced mode. Standard mode doesn't allow us much flexibility with non-Windows applications. Since the Program Manager is the window we use to start all our programs, let's use the mouse to open one. Pam, move the mouse around on your tabletop and notice how the arrow pointer moves in the same pattern on your computer screen. This pointer is the key to working in the Windows environment. You move the mouse pointer around and use the mouse buttons to execute actions. The three basic actions with a mouse are click, double click, and click and drag. The left button is used primarily for all of these operations. The click action is usually used to select a window, an item from a list, or another object on the desktop. The double click is also exactly as it sounds. It is two rapid presses and releases of the button. The double click is used to execute actions, to start a program, for example. We'll see more about that in a moment. The third action is click and drag. This is used to move items around the desktop. The action is to press and hold the button while you move the mouse pointer to the desired location and then release the button. This is also called dropping the object you are dragging. Pam, let's open the game program first. Move the mouse pointer on top of the game icon and double-click the left mouse button. Remember, this is two rapid clicks of the mouse button, and be careful not to move the mouse when double-clicking. Notice the game's window appears within the Program Manager window. To bring this window up using keyboard commands, hold down the Alt key and press the W key. Once the Program Manager's window menu is pulled down, pressing the number next to the desired application inside the window menu invokes the application as if you double-clicked on it with the mouse.
Professor, what exactly is a window?
Good question, Pam. We need to be clear about our terms here. The entire display on your monitor or screen is called the desktop. Any box outline inside the desktop is a window. Very simply, a window is a section of the screen or desktop where you can work with your applications and documents. You may have many windows overlapping each other on the desktop, and they may be moved and placed anywhere on the screen. All windows have the same basic parts and behave in the same manner when manipulated with a mouse or keyboard. Pam, double-click on the solitaire icon or press the Tab key to highlight that icon if it isn't already highlighted, and press the Enter key. Notice how the hourglass tells you when the system is thinking as it loads the program into memory. There, a game of solitaire is all laid out for you. I want to mention again that our viewers may get a different size window than we see here. Don't worry, changing window size is the first option in window manipulation that we'll learn. To begin with, Pam, move the mouse pointer slowly to the right edge of the window and see how it changes into a double-pointed arrow. This arrow indicates the point where the window border can be picked up and sized. Hold down the mouse button and move the mouse slightly to the left. Release the button and notice how the window changed size. Now move down to the lower corner until the double arrow becomes angled. This is an indicator to tell you that you can size the window both horizontally and vertically if you pick it up there. Pam, hold down the button at the corner and move the mouse up and to the left. Do you see the ghost window border showing what your new size will be? Push the window into a smaller size, then release the button. In addition to the sizing border, you can also manipulate each window using its control menu located in the upper left corner. The little bar in this icon represents a file drawer. Pam, move your mouse pointer on top of this bar. Click and hold down the left mouse button, and a pull-down menu appears containing options to change the window's appearance. Slowly pull the mouse downward and notice how it highlights the menu options. We can move, size, minimize, maximize, close, or switch to any window. Releasing the mouse button on any option on the control menu will cause that action. The restore option appears in a lighter shade because its function isn't available to us at this time. Pam, select the move option. The cursor changes into a four-sided arrow. This arrow allows you to move your window with the keyboard. Press the right arrow a few times and watch your window move to the right. Pressing the down arrow key will naturally move the window in that direction. And pressing the enter key will drop the window in the desired location. Pam, press the Alt and Space bar keys. This is how you display the control menu. You can press the up and down arrow keys to highlight these options and press enter to activate them. Size will allow you to change a window's border with the keyboard. Notice the underscored characters. These indicate what letter to press with the keyboard to activate these options. Also, to the right of some commands are other keyboard commands for selecting that option. Pam, press N to minimize this window. When a window is minimized, it is transformed into an icon, a small picture usually placed in the lower left of the desktop along with the title, as given on the title bar. If your Program Manager window is bigger than ours, you may need to pull the bottom up a little to see the minimized icon. You can do this anytime you want to move a window out of your way for a while without closing it. Pam, click and hold on the solitaire icon, then drag it to another location. Drop the icon by releasing the mouse button. Remember, you can click and drag a minimized icon to any location on the desktop.
Professor, what about these symbols in the other corner? Do they have menus as well?
No, Pam, they don't. These are the minimize and maximize icons, which immediately change the window size when you click on them. Go ahead and click on the up arrow. The maximize icon will cause the Program Manager window to be sized as large as possible, which occupies the entire desktop. When you maximize a window, the maximize icon is replaced by the restore icon, which is the up and down arrow. Pam, go ahead and click on this icon to restore the Program Manager to its original size. Now click on the down arrow and our Program Manager window is minimized to an icon. And we see nothing on our desktop but the minimize solitaire and Program Manager icons. Now click once on the Program Manager icon. This brings up your control menu. Since Restore is already highlighted, press Enter and it's back to our normal screen. You can also open a minimized program by double-clicking on the icon. Pam, double-click on the solitaire icon to open that game. Then grab the upper left corner of your solitaire game window and size it down to fill only about 1/3 of the screen, so we can see it, the Games window, and Program Manager window as well. We'll have additional information to look at once we have more than one window open on our desktop. The power and convenience of Windows comes from the messy desk concept that allows you to use your computer much like you can use your office desk. You can have several windows open at once, just like having several pieces of paper laying on your desk at one time. And you can shuffle among the windows much like you rearrange your pieces of paper as you are working on different tasks. There's one additional advantage that we have already seen in Windows. You can reduce the size of a window using minimize so it doesn't clutter up your desk while you're not using it. And yet it's still there and easily restored to working size when you're ready to use it again. Along the top of each window is its title bar. This part of the window serves several purposes. The first and most visible is to tell us the name of each window. Secondly, it indicates which window is the active window on the desktop. Go ahead and select the Program Manager. Notice the title bar changed and the Program Manager window is now on top of the Solitaire window. The active window is the one we are currently working with, and its title bar is displayed in a special color depending on how your colors are set up. The other function of the title bar is to move the whole window. Pam, click and hold on the title bar and drag the Program Manager window around on your screen, and then let go of the mouse button to drop it in a new location. When you click on the title bar, you see the ghost of the window just as when you are sizing. But instead of sizing, dragging the title bar moves the whole window anywhere on the desktop that you wish. Pam, put the Program Manager window back where it was on the screen. Now I want you to grab the title bar of the Solitaire window, but it's covered up. Viewers, if your title bar is covered by another window, you can click anywhere in the Solitaire window to make it active. If the window you want is covered completely, you can resize the top window until you can see part of the window below. Or you could simply hold down the Alt key, then press the Tab key until Solitaire appears in this box. Releasing the key activates that program's window. Just below the title bar is the menu bar. It consists of various options specific to each window or program. In this case, you can see the keywords File, Options, Window, and Help on the Program Manager window, and Game and Help on the Solitaire window. They are the actions available in each of the windows. Different menu options will show up in different application windows. Pam, move your pointer to File on the Program Manager menu bar and click to pull down the menu associated with that option. Did you notice that this action also made the Program Manager the active window again? The File menu operates just like the Control menu did. You can click on an option or use the keyboard commands to activate them. Again, the underscore letter tells which key to press to choose that menu option. You need to press the Alt key and the letter to select a menu, and the letter alone to activate a menu's selections. And again, the speed keys are listed on the right. You can use the up and down arrow keys to highlight the menu option you want. Then press Enter. Or click the mouse on an option to activate that selection. This File menu allows you to do all these operations to an activated window. Pam, press the right arrow key once and the Options menu opens. Here you can set some defaults for your programs. The check marks tells you if the option is activated or not. Auto Arrange automatically arranges icons to fit the best they can in any window that you open. Minimize on use will automatically minimize the Program Manager every time you start a program, and the Save Settings option, which we saw earlier, will save your last screen setting when exiting Windows. So when you start the program again, it will be arranged the same way you left it. Right arrow again, Pam, and we see choices for arranging windows and selections for opening program groups. These are the same groups that are icons in the Program Manager. The last menu item is Help. The Help screen can be very useful while you are learning to use Windows. Pam, since Contents is already highlighted, press Enter and a Help window opens up. This gives you a short description of what the Program Manager is about and a list of the different functions of this program. Every window has its own Help menu, and the Contents option tells you about that program and has more on its functions. You can also press the F1 key at any time in any Windows program to bring up the Help contents for that program. You can find out more about any of the topics underlined below How To by selecting it. Pam, move your cursor to Start an Application and notice how the cursor turns into a little hand. Be sure to have the finger pointing on the selection you want, then click. Another window opens telling you about that topic plus additional subcategories to choose from. Pam, click on the Back button on the menu bar and the window changes back to the previous screen. The directions on the Help screen are very clear to help you find the answer to your questions. You can click on Minimize and Help stays in the background ready to help you when needed. Pam, click on Help again. There is even help on how to use Help. Click on Search for Help on and you can choose any topic you need help on. You can even open as many help screens you feel you need to refer to and leave them open in the background for quick access. Pam, press Escape to clear this window, and since our last action opened the Contents Help window, minimize it again. Pam, click on the Windows submenu again and then press 5 for Accessories. Notice we now have another window named Accessories in the title bar. As you can tell by now, there are several ways to select options using the keyboard or mouse. So for the rest of this lesson, we'll be demonstrating with what seems to work best. Some things are faster with the mouse and others with the keyboard. You'll have to decide which works best for you.
Professor, what do these arrows on the side of the window do?
They are part of the scroll bar, Pam. Most windows have one on the right for up and down or vertical scrolling. Some also have a horizontal scroll bar at the bottom of the window for right and left scrolling. Scroll bars are needed because sometimes the window can't show everything that is contained in that window. For example, we can only see part of the icons in this accessory window. The scroll bars are added to tell us there is more information than we can see. Selecting the up arrows allows you to scroll to the top of the window. The down arrow allows you to scroll to the bottom. The left arrow moves the viewing section to the left, and the right arrow displays the right portion of your document. Pam, move your mouse pointer on the top arrow. Click once and the contents move a little bit. Click and hold on the button and the window will keep scrolling until you release it or until there is nothing left to scroll. The arrow keys also allow you to scroll the window. Pam, press the up and down arrow keys to move within the accessories window. The box in the column between the arrows shows what part of the window you're looking at. A click in the column will move the box to that part of the window. Putting your pointer on the box and holding the left mouse button down also lets you move to the desired location.
Professor, couldn't I just maximize this window to see all of the icons instead of scrolling?
Yes, you could, Pam. Go ahead and try that. That maximize only increases the accessories to the size of the Program Manager window. But the scroll bars disappeared since we can see all of the icons at once now. In some cases, for example, a very large graphic window, you might not be able to see all of it even with a full screen view. So you would need to use the scroll bars to look at a section at a time. Now, Pam, there's one more thing I want to point out about Windows. Look at the screen view we have now and recall the steps we took to get this view. From the Program Manager window, we opened Accessories and maximized it. Accessories is a document window, which means it runs inside the Program Manager. That's why it maximized only to the size of the Program Manager window. Programs not running within the Program Manager will maximize to a full screen. Look at the title bar. It reads Program Manager Accessories. Accessories does not have its own menu bar. The only one you see belongs to the Program Manager. Accessories does have its own control menu box on the left side of the title bar. Look closely at the icons on the top right. There are now 3 of them. One will restore the Accessories window and the other 2 apply to the Program Manager, which is now filled with the Accessories window. Pam maximized the Program Manager and look what happens. The Accessories window grows to a full screen size. Now use the lower Restore icon to reduce the Accessories window to its smaller size inside the Program Manager window. And see that the Program Manager still fills the whole screen. Pam, go ahead and restore the Program Manager window to its smaller size too. Now, Pam, hold down the Alt key and press Tab until Solitaire is in the switch box and release the keys to activate the game window. Now maximize it to a full screen view. Pam, click on the deck of cards in the upper left of the screen to get the first deal. To move a card, place the pointer on that card and click and hold the left mouse button to drag the card to the new pile. Viewers, you may want to pause the tape here and play a game of solitaire and practice manipulating windows with the mouse and keyboard until you feel comfortable using your new skills. When you finish, restore the solitaire game window to its smaller size. Pam, click in the Program Manager window to activate it. Now let's see how to move among more open windows. Right now we are in the Program Manager. The Accessories, Games, and Solitaire windows are open. We want to open the main window, but that icon isn't visible, so pull down the window menu and click on Main.
Professor, I'm getting just a little confused. My windows are all on top of each other, and I can't see what's going on.
Well, Pam, we need to clean up this messy desk. It is looking a little crowded in our Program Manager. Let's look at some ways to see several open documents at once without losing track of our work. Pull down the window menu, then select the Cascade option. You can see that Cascade stacks our open windows on top of each other with only the title bar showing. This gives us the largest space for the currently active window, and still lets us see some of the other windows open behind the active one. Now, Pam, this time press Alt-W and select Tile. Now you can see all the open windows side by side, but with very little viewing area in each one. Here you can move and resize any window that is activated to any view you want. Pressing the Alt and Spacebar keys will display the control menu for the active application window. Pressing the Alt and hyphen keys will display the control menu for the active window within an open application. And maximize the accessories window so we can see all the programs it contains. Write and Paintbrush are two very handy applications that come with Windows. Write is a word processor and Paintbrush is a graphics drawing program. Pam, select Write from the icons in the accessories window either by double-clicking on it or by using the arrow keys to move to that icon and then pressing Enter. There, Write opened up in a window bigger than the Program Manager, although still not a full-screen view. You can see that it also has its own menu bar with some different choices. We'll come back to Write and Paintbrush, but for now, Pam, minimize this window. Viewers, you may just want to watch this next section as we're going to take a quick tour of the other accessories that come with Windows. We won't have time in this lesson to cover all of them. I'm sure you'll find them easy to understand as you become familiar with working in other programs in the Windows package. Simply double-click on any of these icons to start the program. Notepad is a simple text editor where you can keep quick notes or edit your DOS command files, such as your system's AutoExec.bat file. It doesn't have all the extra features of Write or other full-function word processors. A nice feature is the automatic time-date stamp found under the Edit menu. And when you close the Notepad, it asks you if you want to save changes, even if you forgot before you started to close. Terminal is a data communications facility which will allow your computer to connect to others over a telephone line. You need a modem to operate this program. The Recorder allows you to save keystroke sequences in a macro. If you find yourself doing repetitive keystrokes all the time, you can enter them here and condense the sequence to one keystroke. Card File works like a computerized Rolodex. Under Edit, Index arranges cards according to your choices, and Search will look for a particular card. Auto Dial, working with the terminal, will automatically dial a phone number listed on a card. Calendar serves as an appointment book and also can set alarm reminders. You can choose to view a single day or the whole month. The Calculator offers both a standard and a scientific option. Simply select the numbers you need with the mouse pointer. Clock simply shows you the time in either a digital or analog view. However, if you need to change the time setting on your system, that is done from the control panel, which we'll be visiting after we finish looking at the accessories. Character Map allows you to insert these special characters into your documents. You need to make sure your printer can handle these characters in order to work. Object Packager allows you to create an icon that contains a document, graphic, or template. For example, you can create a company letterhead and insert that icon into a document for instant reproduction. Media Player and Sound Recorder are tools for playing music and multimedia presentations. You need special equipment to operate these programs. Good stuff, huh, Pam? That's a lot of tools, and we haven't seen it all yet. Let's look next at the main window. First, let's close the accessories window, but Pam, take care to select the control menu for the accessories window, not the program manager, and then choose Close. Now we're back at the program manager window with the games and main windows showing inside it. This time, Pam, select the main window and maximize it so we can see all our options at once. You may wonder, since it's called Main, why we don't automatically start up with this window instead of the Program Manager. Main is a utilities window that manages the functions of the Program Manager, such as the colors on your screen. But the Program Manager handles all the programs we can run with Windows. Most of the time we'll be using the Program Manager. Once in a while, however, we might need to make some adjustments to how Windows is running. Let's see how the main window helps do that. Once again, since we're taking a quick tour, you may want to watch rather than opening each of these items. Windows Setup shows us the system settings on our PC. Under Options, you make changes as needed, perhaps to add new Windows applications or change your monitor. We'll see some more on this later. The Control Panel gives us lots of choices for customizing the appearance of our desktop and the way our individual PC uses Windows. Look at all these controls. You can choose a variety of ways to change the look of your screen, the operation of your keyboard and mouse, setting up different drivers and printers. Some experimentation with these controls will let you run the desktop just like you want to. Clicking on the color icon brings up a large dialog box so we can change the colors of our Windows environment. Choosing Color Palette expands the box to give us even more control over our screen color. You can change any part of the screen by clicking on the area to be affected, then clicking on the desired color. Here's a special feature to be aware of. Notice the little arrows with lines under them next to this box. Clicking on these will give you special options in many menus. Here they give default colors you can choose for your Windows screens. And here, Windows gives you more parts of the screen you can change. Remember, when you see a little arrow with a line under it, it means there is more information available. I'm sure you will want to experiment with all the choices available on the control panel. But for now, let's move along to look at the other main window items. The File Manager is a vast improvement over the DOS command line for managing your files. One click on the disk drive gives you a view of all the directories on that drive. In our case, we are looking at all the directories on our C drive. The next column displays the files of the highlighted directory. Pam, click on our 123 for Windows directory, and the files of that directory now appear in the Files area. Put a disk in Drive A and click on the A drive icon. And here's a list of the files on that disk. Pam, click on our C drive again and pull down the Tree menu. Under Tree, you can manage the view of your directory tree. Expand Branch shows the subdirectories. View gives you choices for how the files and directories will be grouped. Click on any file in the Files window and click on File on the menu bar. Once a file is selected, you can move, copy, delete, or do any number of things to the selected file. Now you don't have to memorize the specific DOS commands because you can use the Windows menu to manage your files. Notice these options with an ellipsis beside them. That means when you choose this option, a dialog box will appear asking for additional information. Pam, choose Associate. This option lets you choose a particular file in a program, and by double-clicking on that file, it starts the program and loads that file ready for you to work on. For example, Pam, in the Files with Extension box, type DOC, which is the extensions we give our files in WordPerfect for Windows. Tab once to move the cursor to the next box. In the Associate With box, type C:\WPWIN.exe, which is the execution file for WordPerfect for Windows. Click on OK, Pam, to make the association complete. Then find the WPWIN directory in the Directories column. Open up one of its subdirectories so we have some files to look at. Because of our association, double-clicking on any file with a DOC extension in any WordPerfect directory will load the program and have the file open as the active window. Pam, exit WordPerfect to get back to our File Manager. Associating files is necessary for retrieving files in non-Windows applications. Fortunately, with programs made to run with Windows, your files may be automatically associated. Here are the different file icons you'll find in the Files directory. These page icons with lines in them represent files that have been associated. Double-clicking on these files will start the application that created the file and load that file. Double-clicking on a program or batch file icon will initiate that file in its ordinary fashion. This plain page icon represents regularly saved files, and this icon represents directories that house files and subdirectories. OK, Pam, click on Disk. Under Disk, you see some DOS utility commands. Format, Copy, Label. Now go to the Control menu and close the File Manager window. Now let's look at the rest of the applications in the main window. The Print Manager shows you the active printer and allows you to queue and review the queues for print jobs. Windows allows you to control many printer functions directly from the comfort of your keyboard. The clipboard is possibly one of the most useful features of Windows because it allows you to transfer information among files. We'll look more closely at this in just a moment. The PIF editor allows you to define specific information needed to access non-Windows applications from Windows. Remember, each of these windows have their own help menu option that tells you more about the function of that program and how it works. An important item here is the README icon. This document contains information about the Windows program that was not included in the user's guide. You should take the time to see if there is information important to you. The only remaining tool is the DOS prompt. If there are any system tasks that you can't handle from these menus, you can go directly to DOS using this icon. If you do go there, typing exit at the prompt will return you to Windows. Close the main window again and be careful to use the lower icon so you don't accidentally close the Program Manager. Now we're back to the Program Manager. Pam, double-click on the Applications icon. Here we see the icons for other applications we have installed on our computer. Viewers, your program icons will vary widely here depending on how you installed Windows and what other programs you already have installed on your computer. Windows Express installation will put all your Windows and non-Windows applications in this application group. You may have done a custom installation and created your own groups and icons. If you installed over Windows 3.0, your old group icons were saved. If you added Windows-compatible programs after Windows was already installed, it created its own group icons like these in the Program Manager. Standard mode users may have memory problems doing this, in which case it may be better to start non-Windows programs from the File Manager or DOS prompt. Here's how you add a non-Windows application to a group window. First, make sure you have the Applications window open and active. Click on File and select New. If you didn't have an application group icon or wanted to create your own group, here is where you make one. Choose Program Group and you're asked to give it a name. If in fact you didn't have an Applications group icon, you could type Applications here to create one. We have one, so let's create a daily business group for our example. Press Enter. And there is a new group window that becomes an icon when minimized. Now to add programs to this group, or any group, make sure the group window is open and activated. Pam, in our example, closed this window and activate the Applications group so we can add a program to it. Click on File and New again. This time choose Program Item and OK. Now if you had another program we wanted to add to this group, simply type its name in the description box. Pam, let's say we use Notepad a lot and wanted it in this window. Type Notepad, press Tab to get to the command line box. Here we need to tell Windows where to find the program. Click on Browse and we get a list of all the programs on our C drive. Viewers, here is where you can find the program file names you want to add to your group. Under List Files of Type, you can choose programs or a file in that program you want to automatically go to when you start that program. Under Drives, you can choose the drive your program is on. Pam, we are in the right place, so select C and scroll down to Notepad. Select it. Press Enter to choose OK. If you had a subdirectory where files you wanted are located, you could enter a path to that file in the Working Directory box. Pam, press Enter to accept this. And there is the Notepad program ready to start in our Applications window. Since we already have Notepad in our Accessories group, we really don't need it here, so let's demonstrate how easy it is to get rid of a program group. With Notepad still selected, choose File and select Delete. Answer yes, we are sure, and it's gone. Pam, now let's move to opening and working with other programs. Let's open PFS First Choice and draft a memo so we can see how easy it is to move between applications and to transfer information from one file to another. Double-click on the First Choice icon in the Applications window and the program will start. Viewers, we are using First Choice to demonstrate how a non-Windows application works with Windows. To follow along with us, open any word processing program you have on your computer. Please don't use the Windows Write program. A non-Windows application wants to run full screen. That is, it will take over the entire desktop and will look exactly like it does when you start it directly from DOS. However, with Enhanced mode, we can put the application into a window and still take advantage of some of Windows' features. Also, you can open as many non-Windows applications as your memory will allow. If you're running in standard mode, you can run only one non-Windows application and you won't be able to put it in a window. You can, however, using the switching controls, switch between open Windows programs to your full screen non-Windows program and transfer data between. Pam type Alt and spacebar, and the program is put in a window with its own control menu, just like all other windows. Only this one has some additional options. Notice that the size and maximize are grayed out because you can't size a maximize window with normal Windows controls. All the other controls are still available. Choose Settings. Display Options lets you choose whether you want it in a window or full screen. Let's leave it in a window, so click on Cancel to accept this. Pam, press the Alt and Enter key combination and you can see another easy way to switch back and forth from full screen to a window. Again, leave it in a window. Now pull down the control menu and select Restore. This puts the program in a smaller window that does have all the regular controls, including scroll bars. Let's leave it here while we enter a brief memo. Let's say your company is having a picnic and you need to create a memo to invite the staff. Everyone pause or rewind the tape to enter this note into your word processor. Type in, "The annual company picnic will be held Saturday, comma, August 11 a.m. at the Picnic Pavilion in City Park." Please type it in just as you see it. We've made an intentional mistake so we can edit it later. Notice while typing the memo that if your program uses a mouse, that you can use it in your program. This is new to Windows 3.1 and very helpful. Our first step is to move the note from First Choice into Write. And it's really easy with the Windows clipboard. First, we have to bring up our control menu and choose Edit. Choose Mark, and now we can mark the text in the document. Highlight the text by clicking and dragging the pointer across the words. Release the mouse button when the text is marked. Now choose Copy from the Edit menu. That's it. Pam, we could close the First Choice program in the usual manner, but we'll leave it open just to get a feel for Windows' multitasking feature. We just opened one application here, but in fact you could have several running. Pam, minimize the First Choice window. Now let's take a look at the clipboard to see if our sentence is there. Select Window from the Program Manager menu and then Main. From the main window, select the clipboard icon, and there's the note ready to be pasted into another application. I want to show you another feature of Windows that makes it easy to move among tasks. Open the control menu of the clipboard and select Switch to. A task list window appears and shows us all of our open programs. The clipboard, Program Manager, a VGA Pro program we have running, our solitaire game, Write, and First Choice. With a task list, we can have several jobs going at once and quickly move between them as needed. You might, for instance, keep your calendar, the notepad, and your card file open and ready for phone calls. Even if all of these routines are minimized to keep the clutter down, they are available almost instantly using the task list or the Alt-Tab key. Pam, hold the Alt key down and press the Tab key several times. Again, this is another way to see and change to all our open programs. Release on the task list. Pam, arrow down to highlight Write from the task list. Click on Switch to or press Enter, and Windows Write program comes to view. The Write window presents a blank page, much like any word processor. For this Windows lesson, I'll assume you're familiar with basic word processing functions, so we won't cover all the editing and formatting possibilities that make word processors so popular. Remember that you can always pull down the Help menu for specific assistance. You can see two symbols on the page: a flashing cursor that marks your insertion point and an end mark that indicates the end of text. Since we haven't typed anything yet, the end mark is at the top of the document. Follow along with Pam and type in the following short memo so we'll have something to work with. Again, pause or rewind the tape to enter this text. Date, tab, August 1, 1992. Press enter. On the next line, 2, tab, all, staff. Press enter. On the next line, from, tab, the, boss. Press enter. On the next line, subject, a space, company, picnic. Press enter twice. Good. There's a standard memorandum opening. Now let's paste it in the text from first choice. Your cursor is in place, so simply pull down the Edit menu and select Paste. And there it is. It can't get any easier than that. Notice that your cursor is positioned at the end of the pasted text, so let's just add a couple more lines. Press Return, and then add CMAP below, period. The editing functions in Write work much the same way in the other Windows applications, so you will want to be familiar with these. Moving the cursor or insertion point with the mouse in Write is the same as we've already learned. Just point and click at the new location. Pam, put your mouse cursor at the beginning of the first paragraph and click. Notice the insertion cursor stays there even when you move the mouse away. To move around text with the keyboard one letter at a time, press the right and left arrow keys. Holding these keys down moves it rapidly through the text. Press Control together with the arrow keys to move a word at a time. The Home key moves you to the beginning of the line, and the End key moves you to the end of the line. Press Control and Home to move back to the beginning of the document. Home and End goes to the end of the document. Pam, finish with Control Home. From the top of this document, let's look at the formatting controls. We want to set a tab to align the information in the top lines of our memo. Select the Document menu, then the Ruler On option. With the mouse, select the tab marker as you see Pam doing. If it is already dark, that means it is already selected. Now click at the 1-inch position on the ruler, and we have an instant tab marker at 1 inch, and the text we moved with tabs all moves to our new tab setting. Move your cursor before the C in Company and tab once. Now our text is all lined up. Look at the information the ruler gives us. We see the left margin marker, the arrow facing inward, which is set at 0. 0 actually defaults here 1.25 inches from the left of the page. Line spacing is managed with the central set of boxes. The single spacing symbol is currently active. And alignment is handled with the set of boxes on the right. Our memo is currently set for Left Justify. Now let's use the editing functions to make some changes in the memo. It seems we forgot to put a date and the correct time in our memo, so with your mouse, click and drag across the number 11 to highlight it, then type in 8th. You can see that the new word replaces the highlighted text. Now move the insertion cursor before AM and type from noon until 7 p.m. Did you notice how the new text pushes the other text over as you type it? Now press the delete key 4 times to erase the AM. Now press Ctrl-N to move the insertion point to the end of the memo and add these words. Lunch will be served at 1:30.
Professor, I think that line should go before the one that says CMAP. Is there a way to move it up?
It's very easy, Pam. Point your mouse just before the L in lunch and move it slightly, and notice how it changes from an I-beam to a pointer. This lets you know if you click before the line when it's a pointer, it will highlight the whole line. Double-clicking will highlight the whole paragraph. Make the cursor an I-beam. Click and drag across the text and you can highlight it as much as you want. Highlight the whole line. This is called blocking text, and once text is blocked, you can do any number of editing functions like moving, deleting, underlining, and changing its appearance. Now select Cut from the Edit menu. Move your insertion point to the place you want the line to go. And select Paste from the Edit menu. And press Enter. There! Does that look like what you had in mind? Now let's add some flair to our memo by putting the first paragraph in boldface to emphasize it. Highlight that paragraph, select Character from the menu, and select Bold. That is easy enough, and the paragraph stays blocked in case you want to do something else to it. So far, we've been working in an untitled window. Let's save our work and give it a name. Select the Save As option from the File menu. The dialog box asks us for a name and also gives us several options about how the document should be saved. Let's call the memo Picnic, and we'll save it in Write form by pressing Enter, so it automatically gets the extension .wri. If we were planning to copy this document into another application, we might want to use the text-only or MS Word save options. Now this memo will be more helpful if we add a map to it. Pam, to start Paintbrush so we can draw the map for our memo, open the Control menu and choose Switch To. If Paintbrush was already open, we could easily switch using the task list, but since it isn't, we need to go to the Program Manager window. This time, Pam, double-click on Program Manager to bring up its window and then choose the Accessories window and select Paintbrush. By the way, Pam, did you notice that we didn't need to close Write before we switched to Paintbrush? You see 5 general items on the window. The symbols at the left side of the screen are the toolbox. We'll look more closely at those when we begin to draw our map. The shaded or colored boxes across the bottom are the palette of colors and patterns available. In the lower left corner is the line size box where you choose the thickness of your drawing line. The center of the window is the drawing area. The cursor will change shapes according to which drawing tool you have selected. There are some simple and basic steps to creating a drawing. The first is to select background and foreground colors. The palette is where you select your colors and where you can change them at any time. Paintbrush begins with white as the background color and black as the foreground. And for our picnic map, those will do quite well, since we can only print in black and white. The next step is to select the size of the line we want to draw. Pam, let's use the third down line size for our map. So click on that line in the line size box. Now we need to choose a drawing tool. The brush is automatically selected when you start up Paintbrush, but I think we'll start our map with a simple box and some lines. Pam, select the box tool by clicking on it. Choose the box on the left. The one on the right is a fill box. Now move your pointer into the drawing area in the lower left-hand corner about 3 inches up. You'll need to click once and hold down the button to anchor the corner of the box, and then drag the mouse diagonally until the box is the size needed, about 3 inches, and release the button to finish the drawing. We'll let this box be City Park. Now we should add some streets in the park so people can find their way. Pam, select the Line tool next, and move your pointer to the middle just outside one edge of the box. Just like the box, you click and hold to anchor one corner, and then drag to the other end of the line and release the button. Excellent, Pam. You're a natural at this. Let's try something a little different now. Select the Curve tool and once again move your pointer into the map. This time anchor one end on the left side of the straight line we just drew and then drag the line toward the middle of the bottom line and release the button. When you have set the line, move your pointer away from the line a little bit and press the button again. Drag the mouse and see how the line curves in the direction you're moving. Release the button when you have the line where you want it and click again to place it. You can curve the line in either direction. Pam, every park needs a fishing pond, so let's make one. We needed to select the filled circle tool so we can color our pond, but first let's select our colors. These two boxes represent the foreground and background colors. The little one is the foreground. You can change the foreground colors by clicking on a color with the left mouse button and the background with the right button. Pam, choose blue for foreground and black for the background. When our map prints in black and white, it will look like a shade of gray. Select the filled circle tool and move your pointer into the map and press the button to anchor the corner of the pond. Then drag the mouse until you have a good pond shape and release the button. Well, Pam, we have a pretty good map of City Park here, so let's try one more tool to draw a picnic table to show where the picnic is. First, we need to change back to our regular foreground and background colors. Now choose the brush tool and the second line size. Here is where you really get to be an artist. The brush is used to draw freehand shapes, so Pam, just draw a simple picnic table. Just like the other tools, you click and drag the mouse to draw a line, and then release it when you finish the line. It's like picking up your pencil from the paper between lines. There are several ways to edit, but the one you might find most useful is the eraser. Pam, select the eraser and move your pointer into the drawing area. Now click and drag and see how it works. The eraser changes the foreground color that it touches into the background color, so it seems to disappear. But if you selected a different background color, your eraser will look more like another paintbrush.
Professor, I've erased part of my picture. Now what do I do?
Thank goodness for undo, Pam. We can just select that option from the edit menu and unerase your last action. You want to be sure to go straight to the undo menu when you've done something you don't like, since it only works on the last thing you did. You still need to be careful with undo, as it will undo everything you did with the last tool used. Fortunately, if you undid more than you meant to, you can undo again to get it back. Unfortunately, undo is only available in the Write and Paintbrush applications. Let me show you another way to erase. Choose the Fill Box tool and select white as the foreground color. Make a box around the picnic table, and it's gone. Now choose the Line tool and make the foreground black again, and try drawing another picnic table. When you're done, there's just one more thing to do to finish our map. We need to put some labels on it so people can find the streets. That's a little better. Keep practicing and you'll get the hang of it. Okay, now select the Text tool, then Text from the menu bar, and select Font. Under Font, you have a list of the different fonts available. Next to that, we have a list of font styles available for the highlighted font, and next to those, the available font size. Under that is a sample of what that font looks like. Pam, choose Times New Roman, and notice we have more font styles and sizes available, and a sample of that font. Let's keep Times New Roman and choose Bold Italic and a size of 12. Good. Click on OK. Now we're ready to put some text into our map. Pam, position the cursor along the street that crosses the park and click to anchor it at that location. Pam, let's call this street Cross Street. Good. Now let's label the whole map City Park so people will know what park this is. I'm sure you'll want to come back to this program and practice some more, and also try using some of the tools we didn't get to in this lesson. But for now, I think we should save our work. Pam, choose Save As from the File menu, and let's call this picture Map. There are two cutout tools, both identified by scissors symbols. The left one with the star shape is the freeform tool, and the right one called Pick with the box shape will define a square or rectangular shape. Pam, select the Pick tool since our map is rectangular, and move your pointer into the drawing once again. Position the pointer outside of the box on the top left corner so you can select the whole map without cutting off any pieces. It might take a few times so you get accustomed to how this works. If you make a mistake, just click the right mouse button to start over. Now that the cutout is defined, go to the Edit menu and select Cut. This places our map in the clipboard. Though it is cut out of this screen, it is saved so you can easily retrieve it to do more work on it later. Now, Pam, we can close the paintbrush program using the Control menu. Since we don't have our map on screen, we don't want to save this, so say No. Now hold down the Alt key and press Tab to switch back to our memo in Right. Pam, position your cursor below See Map. Click to mark that position, then hit your Enter key. Pull down the Edit menu and select Paste. And there it is. Maximize this window and press Control Home so we can see our whole masterpiece. It looks great. So Pam, I think you should save your work again. Since we already have a file name, just click on Save and it's saved again. Now, Pam, choose Print from the File menu to print a copy of our memo. The Print dialog box shows which printer is currently installed for our computer and gives us some options. In this box, you can choose to print all your document or specify pages. Next to print quality, you can choose how you want your printout to look. Pam, choose 300 so we can get the best picture of our map. If you don't have a laser printer on your computer, you can click in this box to copy your file to disk and take it to another computer with a high-quality printer. Here you select how many copies you want. Everything's fine here, so click on OK, and soon you'll have your memo all ready. Nice work, Pam. The memo looks pretty good. Well, it's time to close all our programs and exit Windows. To properly exit, you should close all your open programs before closing Program Manager. You can leave windows opened that are part of the Program Manager and check Save Settings in the Options menu so when you start Windows again, it will start to the screen you want. But we'll close everything. Oops, what's this? We forgot to shut down First Choice. Pam, Alt-Tab to get our First Choice program back and exit using the First Choice exit commands. And now we can close our Windows session and get back to the DOS prompt to turn off the computer. Well, Pam, that's our Windows lesson for today.
Thanks, Professor. You really make this easy to understand.
And thank you, Pam, for being such a great student. On the screen now are some other tapes available in my series. For now, happy computing.